Ohio's got it right. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification, multifaceted gun training, also offering aerial photography and drone services. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. Let's talk about this. The great state of Ohio. There's a bill that's going to the governor's desk and he's expected to sign it. Basically what it does is it's going to lessen the restrictions on arming teachers within the classrooms. And the bill is going to his desk for his signature here. This was of June 2nd. But we got some video here, so let's go ahead and watch that for context. So I'll get that up there. So let's watch this.
Just trying to make this as much of a local control decision as anything to allow the schools to have this practice.
Ohio Representative Thomas Hall is the man behind House Bill 99. It reduces the number of training hours a teacher would need to carry a gun in a classroom from 730 to 24.
My goal and the goal of this legislation as a whole was to always protect and enhance the school safety for the students and staff.
Hall represents Butler County. His dad is Kent Hall. He was the school resource officer who chased a student who shot two classmates out of Madison Senior High School in 2016.
In these situations, seconds matter. My dad responded to the school shooting in Madison in 7 seconds.
But, as I pointed out during a news conference today at the Butler County Republican Party's headquarters, Hall's father had undergone hundreds of hours of training. Assuming Governor Mike DeWine signs HB 99 into law, a teacher could carry a gun with significantly less practice if a school board goes with a bare minimum.
They get to make the ultimate decision.
Hall knows his measure has critics, like Cincinnati Public School Board member Mike Morosky.
It's extraordinarily disappointing to me that the Ohio Republican Party's response to violence in schools is such an unserious response and dangerous.
Morosky is among those who think making it easier for more guns to get inside schools will make students less safe, not more.
The answer is very clearly not let's throw more guns at the problem, but let's have a serious conversation. Why is America obsessed with violence?
Now, if House Bill 99 does become law, school boards can choose not to let teachers carry guns on their campus. Morosky telling me today that he and another board member are already pushing for a resolution that would oppose having CPS educators pack heat. Reporting live tonight in Bond Hill, Todd Dykes, WLWT News 5.
Todd, thank you.
You heard that, you saw that. Now let's go here. This is a Fox 19, this is a local affiliate. And Ohio bill reducing training for armed teachers heads to DeWine. The Ohio Senate passed the bill mostly along party lines on Wednesday. Now, before I dive into this, I just want to make one comment on, of course, you're always going to get the naysayers, no matter what you do. And the gentleman there with, saying that, this is just not the right thing to do. Well, so leaving the schools completely undefended. We have seen the results of no action as far as school security. We've got the results. So it's just bizarre to me that no security is not working. Let's put security there. But that's the worst thing, having more guns in the school. Well, we've seen the results of having no guns in the school. The only one with the gun is the perpetrator. And we've seen the results of that. So this notion that, these people live under the fantasy that violence begins and ends with the firearm. And no matter what the results, and no matter what the history, no matter what the facts that we have, they still continue to die on that hill. But to this article, a bill drastically reducing the training hours needed to carry a gun in Ohio schools is heading to the desk of Governor Mike DeWine. The Senate passed the Republican-sponsored bill HB 99 on Wednesday by a vote of 23-9. The House passed the Senate version Wednesday night after passing a version of its own in November 2021. DeWine says he will sign the bill. And there's a link here for the statement. As of June 13th, Ohio will become a permitless carry state, but people will still need a license to take guns into schools. I have no problem being trained. Currently, teachers, custodians, and bus drivers must complete 728 hours of training to carry on school grounds. What is wrong with that? That is great. That is great. 700 plus hours of training. Good. The same required of peace officers. HB 99 would reduce the minimum number of required hours to 24 for initial approval and 8 hours every year afterwards. So you 24 hours of training, then you get the license, but you must do X amount of hours, 8 every year to keep the license. This is the most important thing we have done to prevent school shootings in Ohio, said Senator Naraj Antani. I said that right. Senator Cecile Thomas, Democrat Cincinnati, here we go, countered. You know why that's the most important thing you've done? Because you haven't done anything else. It's that simple. There's a whole lot more we can do. Does she tell us what those things are? No. She just, once again, just says things. She just says it and that's it. Thomas, a former police officer, contended a small portion, a smidgen of the proposed training hours would be dedicated to firearms instruction. To simply put guns in our schools as a solution to this problem is not a solution at all. Well, no guns in the school has shown us has been a disaster. But don't bring that up, he said later, adding, there's no reason we should be allowing a weapon of war in the hands of our average citizens. And what is he, and I'm going to address this, weapon of war. Okay, well, let's go down the line. A musket was a weapon of war. Gatling guns are a weapon of war. We just keep going. The Colt 1911 is a weapon of war. Shall I just keep running down? Do you see the problem with this? Shotguns, Mossberg 500, Mossberg 590, Remington 870 are used in combat. And of course, AR-15s, M1A, Grant, I could keep going and going and going. But when they say weapons of war, that is a broad definition because a lot of the guns that private citizen owns have been used in warfare. But here we go. This is not what our teachers want. Once again, teachers are arming themselves, so how can she say she's making a broad statement? This is not what our teachers want, but some teachers are arming themselves. So obviously not everyone agrees, but this is how politicians work. Take a big broad brush and paint it over, and then anyone that falls into that, they'll use as fodder for a statement. But not only do our educators and parents oppose the idea of guns being present in the classrooms, who? What poll? What parents? What teachers? Obviously, this is not new for Ohio. They've had this. So teachers have been arming themselves. So how's she going to say? She's making it sound like an overbroad ideal that yes, all the teachers and all the parents. Well, obviously not, because there are teachers that are armed in schools in Ohio. Present in schools, but law enforcement itself does not support the bill, said Representative Jessica Miranda in a statement Thursday. She provides no proof. She just says it. But those wishing to carry on school grounds would have to submit to an annual criminal records check. Nothing wrong there. The decision of whether school employees can be armed on school grounds will remain up to local school districts, and school districts would have discretion to require additional training on top of the bill's minimum requirements. Once again, not a problem. They would be on the hook for funding it. School boards would have to inform parents by whatever way the board normally communicates with the public if school personnel are authorized to be armed. Whether parents would know which teachers are armed remains unclear. Well, that's irrelevant. School districts will be required to keep a list of authorized carriers, but the list would not be eligible for public records requests. Common sense. Since I introduced this bill last year, I've always been about protecting both students and staff at our schools across the state, said Representative Thomas Hall, Republican, the bill's primary sponsor. School safety has always been my priority in emergency situations at our schools. Seconds matter and tragedies can be prevented. In my district, we saw it firsthand. Hall said his father, who was a Madison High School resource officer, chased a shooter from the building back in 2016. What we are doing here is offering schools the flexibility to craft a solution that they feel is right for their buildings, their schools, and their students, said Senator Rob McCauley, Republican Napoleon. We have to remember, if you're in the city, you may have a uniformed officer who's in your building every day. But I can assure you that is not the case in many areas of Ohio, in areas where help may be minutes away. The main thrust of HB 99 creates a bureaucratic apparatus under the Ohio Department of Public Safety called the Ohio School Safety and Crisis Center, staffed by a newly created Ohio Mobile Training Team, which would exist in part to help schools develop crisis response plans. The mobile training team would also take over responsibility for developing the training curriculum and overseeing the approval of persons wishing to carry guns on school grounds, a task currently given to the Ohio Peace Officers Training Academy. I'm not going to read all this because, once again, it's just a lot of talk, and politicians, but this is Ohio heading in the right direction and good for them. You're always going to get the naysayers, so they're always going to be out there, so it doesn't matter. But I'll repeat again, we have seen the results of nobody in the school armed other than the shooter. We have documented proof of that. So how is this going to be a negative to have people who are going to go through training courses, who are going to have to submit to background checks every year, like required to take training every year, having people that the shooter may not know who is armed and who is not. They may think twice about it. I'm gonna go back to the top supermarket in Buffalo, New York. That shooter traveled to New York because, and there's an article on it, he picked that New York because of the gun restrictions, because he knew that the resistance would be minimal. That's a fact. So this is Ohio going in the right direction. I believe New Mexico also does the same thing. New Mexico already has that in place where teachers are armed and under the same circumstances. And once again, this cannot be a negative. Okay, these people have to go through a criminal background check. They got to go through the training. They got to do all the rigmarole that's required for them to have a gun on school grounds. So I see no issue with this, and this is a step in the right direction. Harden the schools, protect the schools first. You can squawk about gun control after the fact, but harden the schools first. And maybe the Democrats will learn something from this. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave comments in the comment section below. And as always, any comments of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell when you get notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.